First, fair, accurate. KVAL News starts right now.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Natasha Chughtai. David Walker and Danae DRC are off tonight. First at 11, we have new information tonight in a violent assault case. Two teens accused of severely beating an African-American man in Northwest Eugene last week will not face hate crime charges. Alyssa Harrington first told us about the story when it broke and is in the newsroom with the very latest. Alyssa?
Well, Natasha, when we first found out about this incident, detectives told me the only reason they were even investigating it as a hate crime is because at the time they knew of no other motivation. And it looks like the court has decided race was also not a factor. This news came out of court documents unsealed this afternoon. We obtained a copy of the charges against 18-year-old Alex Sweigel and his 17-year-old friend. The document says they're accused of assault in the first degree. What it doesn't say is they committed intimidation. That's the term in Oregon for a hate crime. Friends and family members testified at a grand jury yesterday that the teens did not target the victim because of his race. One family member even said that the boys were just extremely drunk. Now, as for the victim, he also testified and, according to friends, is out of the hospital. Natasha?
All right. Thank you, Alyssa, for that report. Now, in case you're wondering what a grand jury is, here's the breakdown. A grand jury is a group of 7 people chosen every month. If prosecutors want to bring someone to trial, they present to a grand jury. The members meet to hear testimony from witnesses, but not from the defendant. If 5 of the 7 members feel prosecutors have enough evidence, then they'll indict. The shooting death of a sleeping trespasser in southern Oregon is testing the state's laws on use of deadly force. It's a question of what is justified when someone breaks into your home. A woman who lives in this Sutherland home found a trespasser passed out or sleeping on her couch. She called 911 and reported it, and minutes later her husband called 911 and said he shot the man and he was dead. We asked a legal expert when killing an intruder is legally justified.
Is it reasonable for you to believe that he's committing a burglary in your house? If he is, then arguably you can use deadly force unless there is some less extreme way to handle the situation.
Now, so far, prosecutors and sheriff's detectives in Douglas County are not saying whether there was a threat against the homeowners. Rural counties across the Northwest may face even tougher times. That's because a massive spending bill in the House does not renew timber payments. The money has helped counties that once depended on federal timber sales to pay for schools, libraries, roads, and other services. Oregon gets the largest amount of the funding. There's one last shot, though. The Senate has included a 1-year extension in a spending bill that comes up for a vote next week. Well, it's a stunning story. 17 students pregnant in just one high school in Gloucester, Massachusetts. But even more alarming, the girls may have made a pact to get pregnant. Terry Okita reports.
It was a secret pact between the students, none older than 16. They got pregnant on purpose.
The common thread appears to be certainly a lack of self-esteem and purpose in life.
17 girls at Gloucester High School in Massachusetts, about 40 miles east of Boston, are going to give birth. Nearly half of those teens made the pregnancy pact and, according to school officials, hope to raise their children together.
Yeah, they just don't really get what's happening. They don't really care.
The city's public health director reports a spike in the number of girls who went to the school clinic this year for pregnancy tests. He says some of the teens seemed upset when they weren't pregnant.
It sort of gives you the impression of being an adult and independent. It may give you an opportunity for unconditional love and attention from the baby, and also that you give to the baby.
Time magazine reports at least some of the fathers are in their mid-20s. One is believed to be a 24-year-old homeless man. Now, some in Gloucester are questioning if those men should face charges of statutory rape. Terry Okita, CBS News.
None of the girls or their families have come forward to confirm any type of pact, and school and health officials have not identified any of the mothers-to-be. A moderate earthquake rattles Wasco County this morning. The tremor, about 8 miles east-southeast of Maupin, measured a magnitude of 3.2. But seismologists tell us they don't have any reports of it being felt. Since January 2007, the same general area has produced more than 300 small to moderate earthquakes. In April, scientists placed a handful of additional seismographs in the area to better understand what's happening underground. Some of us are working around the clock thanks to BlackBerries, instant messaging, and smartphones. Well, what about a little more pay for all of that extra work? One group of workers demanded it, and now it may become a trend. The BlackBerry is a constant companion.
I actually can't imagine life without it.
I use it from the second I wake up to the second I go to bed.
But the device can be a drag.
Oh, this thing is like it's like a ball and chain.
Wired up workers say they can't even escape from the job after hours. Now they want to get paid for it.
I definitely think that we should be compensated.
So I think people should be compensated for what they're being asked to do outside of work.
Writers and producers at ABC News demanded payment for after-work usage and reached a settlement with management. Elsewhere, people keep multitasking while the office is closed.
For some people, they feel like they're missing out on something. I think for others, there really is a genuine fear that they'll appear not to be a team player.
And attorneys are sending a message to businesses: prepare for legal action.
Employers don't really perceive that there's a problem or an issue with employees using their BlackBerries outside of work. They don't see it.
Well, I'm expecting a message any minute.
Andrew Soonies is separated from his BlackBerry only when taking midday naps.
Please make sure to turn off your cell phone on your BlackBerry.
He doesn't expect his employees to be messaging at night.
Compensated for using the BlackBerry while they're working.
Off hours.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
America's strongest man!
Maybe brute force can eliminate the problem.
It is very tough to get rid of those.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Be careful. Oh, it's really good.
The world's strongest man in the United States cannot destroy this BlackBerry.
Will companies be as tough when it comes to exhausted workers armed with a device? Well, you might want to check your tomato plants. Oregon tomatoes are being hit with a fungal disease called early blight. The tomatoes affected will have small black spots on the leaves, sometimes turning the whole leaf yellow. Local experts say they've seen 20 to 30 samples in just the past couple of days. An update now on that salmonella outbreak linked to tainted tomatoes. Federal inspectors are heading for farms in Florida and Mexico to check out new clues for a possible source. 552 people have now been sickened. The FDA won't say where in Florida and Mexico their hunt is centering. NASA's Phoenix lander may have found ice on Mars. The probe turned up some small bright-colored objects when it dug a trench. Scientists kept an eye on them, and in a few days, the little objects disappeared. NASA says they apparently were tiny chunks of frozen water that vaporized when exposed to the Martian atmosphere. And Kim's here now with the first check of the forecast. Please tell me it's going to be nice this weekend.
Well, it was a great start to summer today. It looks like we should continue with that trend. Let's take a look at the planner for tomorrow. Looks like we are going to see partly cloudy skies across much of the state. We do have a slight chance of showers into the mountains, but mild temperatures in the valley and, well, warm temperatures in the valley, mild in the coast. And coming up in a couple of minutes, I will explain more about some summer sprinkles we could be seeing in the next couple of hours. You won't want to miss that.
Next on KVAL News at 11.
Tonight, consumers already tapped out on high prices are starting to think twice about getting water from the bottle. Instead, many are heading straight for the sink. We'll have the details. Plus, the University of Oregon is getting some spiffy new sets of wheels. We'll tell you what it means for athletes in the state.
First, fair, accurate. You're watching